Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, our topic today is creating beautiful or making beautiful portraits. And my special guest is a lifestyle portrait photographer, Erik Valdin. How you doing, bud?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Real good. Welcome back to another show.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Good. Now, you do a lot of stuff with lifestyle portraits.
I do.
Now, typically you have a makeup artist on set. So,
yeah.
right? So if somebody has a blemish or uneven skin, you have the makeup artist take care of it.
Yeah.
Right? But now, what about your personal stuff? Sometimes when you're shooting for your personal images, do you always have a makeup artist?
I wish. If I have an idea in mind and I'm thinking this is going to go towards my portfolio, I'll try to invest in a makeup artist. But they're like any other talented, like creative professional. They're expensive. And I just can't afford to do that most of the time. So a lot of times, I hate to say this, but I have to fix it in post. And it's not camera settings or lighting. I control all that and try to get that as well as I can in camera. But sometimes those blemishes or unevenness in skin tones between the face and the neck or different parts of the face, that would normally be tackled by a makeup artist, I'm left to tackle in retouching because I couldn't afford a makeup artist for personal shoots or test shoots like that. So
Gotcha.
I try to have them, but it's not always the case.
Now, in the old days, remember frequency separation and all the skin retouching tools?
Yeah.
You know, you've been using Photoshop for years. Same concept. It took forever for one image.
And it was terrifying. I mean, when I first started learning frequency separation, I was like watching YouTube videos and Kelby training videos, and I was just like, this is way above my pay grade. I'm a photographer. This feels like I'm a scientist and a retoucher all in one and a makeup artist. And it was very intimidating to try to learn frequency separation. Yeah. So I didn't use it a lot, honestly.
Yeah. So that's where I love that Luminar brought the portrait tools into it, because as portrait photographers, that was huge. The landscape people are like, why are you guys so excited? Well, when sky replacement hit, the landscape artists all went ballistic. They loved it. And I'm like, okay, now you see why you're excited? That's why we were excited with portraits. So
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, your sky replacement is like our skin retouching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you have for us?
All right, so let me jump in and share my screen. I've got two different portraits and two different aspects of the AI and just the overall portrait tools that I want to tackle.
All right.
So let me pull it up here. All right. Share my screen, and there we go. Okay.
Yep.
So are you guys in there?
Yep, I see it.
You along for the ride? All right, cool. So the first thing I want to do is just go ahead and
do you make it full screen, or are you full screen?
There you go. Can you see it full screen now?
Yep. Okay, that's good.
Perfect. All right. So this photograph is zeroed out, and by zeroed out, I mean there is absolutely nothing that I've done to it. So if you see up here, this little eyeball icon is how I go ahead and I would switch between the before and after view to review any kind of adjustments that I've made. So I just want to show you that we are starting from scratch on this portrait. And now the reason I went to 100% is because this is where you get the opportunity to see the blemishes. So I like to run through an image and see what I'm working with, see what I'm going to have to kind of tackle here. And fortunately, we had a makeup artist on this job, and she has really good skin, so her complexion's good. So I'm going to go from this macro level, and I'm going to zoom back out to try to get more of an overall idea of what I want to do. So looking at this, let's go ahead over to the right here into our portrait toolbox, and I'm going to go over here to this AI skin enhancer, and I'm going to let this drop down. And looking at it, I'll gray it out and go back to that. There we go. Little quick reset. Looking at this, I don't really see any major blemishes that are jumping out, so I'm not going to have to go in there and do what I would do in the past, use a cloning tool or the clone stamp or the healing tool to get rid of those. That actually is what this AI skin defects removal button would do there. If there were any big blemishes like pimples or a bad complexion, you could click that and artificial intelligence would immediately jump in, identify those, and remove them. Let's just click it and see if it finds anything on there. I don't think it's going to, though. Nope, really wasn't much there for it to do. A little bit there in the corner that's more of a shadow thing. So we're just going to turn that off because there's nothing we need to tackle. But what I do want to look at is the skin up here, because you can see a little bit of wrinkling there and a little bit of wrinkling here, and that's because I used a little bit of a harder light, and harder lights create more noticeable, more defined shadow. So what I would want to do here is just grab this AI skin enhancer, and I'm just going to scale it up a little bit. And you're going to see that it's going to slowly start to merge or not merge our skin, but kind of smooth out our skin a little bit. And this isn't blurring. This isn't like grabbing the blur tools where we don't have texture. If you look in here, we've still got beautiful texture in the skin. And more importantly, we're not losing any of her freckles. This was the most impressive thing, because I thought for sure this artificial intelligence would get confused and see freckles as blemishes and start to remove them and blur them out. But nope, sure enough, we have skin definition, we have skin texture, which is important, but what we've done is kind of removed and lessened some of that bad shadowing. So what I'm going to do is just toggle this eyeball here, and you can see the before and the after, or if I use this tool next to it, it splits, so you can see before and after here. You can see how I'm not losing any of the sharpness or any of the detail. I'm just kind of drawing a little less attention to the wrinkles in the forehead there. So this is where I would start. This is that kind of frequency separation that we would normally do. Normally I'd have to make multiple layers, contrast layers, sharpening layers, paint them, have a low pass, have a high pass. It was very difficult to set up and very difficult to apply. And now if I want to smooth out skin and lessen some shadow detail or draw less attention to wrinkles and things, I just go in here to AI Skin Enhancer and I can pretty much just let it ride. And I just pick my intensity, and then I do a little preview to make sure I haven't gone too far. And I just went a little, let me go all the way and I can show you kind of what it does. You can see it really pronounced. There's a little bit too much. So I like to kind of hover around here, around like the 50% level. And what that does is that kind of just removes a little bit of that contrast and smooths out the skin without losing detail. Okay, so that's the first thing. We didn't have much work to do on her skin, but there is some work to do on these eyes, and I really want to draw attention to the face because she's got this beautiful red hair everywhere, and I want to make her face stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to want to brighten her eyes, brighten her face. So normally this would be dodge and burn, right? Normally we'd have to go in there and get our dodge and burn tools, and I'd have to like make it brighter here, make it darker here. There'd be a lot of work and a lot of painting. So again, I'm all about speed here. I'm not a big Photoshop guy or retouching guy. I'm a lighting guy and a photographer, so I want to be able to just knock these portraits out quickly when I'm having to do the post-production myself. So fortunately, we have this AI portrait enhancing module over here and a ton of great tools. And this one I love. Now, I mentioned dodge and burn. This is when I would normally try to make the face brighter than the hair around it to make it stand out. Well, that would cause me, to do that, I would have to create curve layers or adjustment layers and paint that in. Look how easy it is using the power of artificial intelligence here. I just bring that face brightening up and it intelligently brightens up the face. And now it's not removing the shadow detail. It's not removing the shadows here on the cheeks, but it's intelligently applying, essentially dodging to her face to enhance it and make it stand out. Now when I zoom out, look at that. Big difference. Her face is popping out and only her face. It's not applying brightness anywhere else. So that is extremely impressive just there, automatic. The next thing I want to do is she has these beautiful eyes and I want to bring those out a little bit. So I'm just going to grab my eye enhancer here and I'm just going to drag that up. And that's going to bring up the eyes ever so slightly. Now, if she had a lot of veins in her eyes here, maybe she was a little tired before this photo shoot, I could go here to eye whitening. A little red eye removal if we had a flash, but we don't really need that. We're not going to play with that because we're not going to try to solve a problem that doesn't exist. We don't really have any dark circles there. She's got big, beautiful eyes, so I don't need to do that. But the reason why I'm walking you through each of these is because there's just an incredibly impressive amount of things and specifically focused tools that we can use to fix certain problems. And that's why the first thing I did when we looked at this portrait is I zoomed in and I said, hey, let's try to analyze what problems we have. Because then there's a tool to overcome them. I guarantee it in here. It's so impressive. If I'm like, oh, her eyebrows are a little bit light. There's even an eyebrow enhancing tool here. See that? I mean, it just, boom, it brings up and darkens and adds contrast to the eyebrows. It's incredible. There are tools to fix problems that most photographers don't even know are problems. She's got beautiful coloring there. I just want to bring that lip saturation up a little bit. We don't really see any teeth, so I'm not worried about that. So now here, watch this. We did this really quickly. We had some problem areas or things that I wanted to improve on, essentially brightening her eyes, bringing more contrast to the face, bringing lightness to the face. We did it all over here in the AI portrait tools. And here, let me give you the before and after. Just right. A bad portrait. But when we finish like this, look at how it draws attention to the face and the eyes as I toggle back and forth here. Really makes the portrait pop, the eyes pop, the face pop, the lips pop. So it's incredible how easy it is to go in here and just really enhance a face. And that's why they call it the portrait enhancer here. We're just kind of bringing beautiful features out and making them more pronounced. So that's the first one that I wanted to show you there. The second one I wanted to show you will deal more with that skin enhancer. So let's go down to this photograph right here. And now for this portrait, I wanted something a little moodier. So you can see that I went and I used a little harder light, and I have the light coming in from this side, the camera left coming into the right to get a highlight to shadow, a more dramatic shadow here. But in doing so, I blew out her skin a little bit. And you can see by doing this more aggressive lighting, the farther you move your light source away from your camera, the more shadow and drama you get. But that dramatic shadow also draws attention to any kind of blemishes. So even if they're little bumps in the skin, dramatic lighting will bring them out. And then it's up to us as retouchers to go ahead and get rid of that. So let me go over here to let me close my my portrait enhancer and go to my skin enhancer. The problems here are we have a little bit of a pronunciation of these bumps here on the forehead, and we have blown out skin. So let's go ahead and work to solve those problems one at a time. The first thing is a newer tool here. It's called shine removal, and I love this. Absolutely love this, because people are always like, how do I get rid of the oily, shiny skin in my portraits? Well, the answer is 1, get a makeup artist. But 2, if you don't have a makeup artist, get this software. So ready? Shine removal brings it right down and naturally. So let me just do a before and after. It's incredible. Even if I want to keep a little bit of it for that drama or that extra contrast, I can. It's amazing what kind of really finesse control you have here with this huge range. I mean, I can crank it all the way, bring back all that skin detail, or I can leave it here and kind of leave that highlight shadow a little bit going on. So there's the before and after. Maybe let's take it down a little bit more. All right, and then here's where we're going to want to jump in and start using this skin enhancer. I want to try to drop down the contrast further there so I'm not drawing attention to any bumps in the skin. I'm just going to go ahead and bring that up. Beautiful. See how it's melting those away and getting the nice smooth gradation to the skin? But you can still see every hair follicle and every pore. So we're not blurring and destroying the texture in the skin. We're keeping the texture somehow while also lowering that local contrast to make the skin look smoother and healthier and cleaner. So let me just do a before and after here. It's incredible how much recovery we got out of that. I'll just put that split screen up. So I love these tools here. So if I'm getting dramatic and I've got shiny skin or I've got some skin that I need to clean up, and normally I would do frequency separation, no longer do I have to be painting in different exposures and frequency separating and spending hours and hours looking for tutorials on the internet on how to do it. I can just go in here, AI Skin Enhancer, crank up shine removal, and boom, I'm from here to here, and I have a nice balanced, smooth skin portrait. So between the AI Skin Enhancer and then in this portrait, the AI Portrait Enhancer, you really have a tool for every single little blemish or mishap or thing that you want to enhance or anything that you want to get more pronounced or bring out in the photograph. So it's a complete suite as far as portrait retouching, and you saw how easy I was able to do it and how quickly I was able to do it. So this is my new go-to now when I'm doing portraits and test shoots and things. If I don't have a makeup artist, Luminar has absolutely saved my butt when it comes to being able to get these retouches done.
Awesome. Great job. All right, do you want to put
you
back on?
Okay.
Now, by the way, so I love the new portrait tools. And I love how fast we can edit images. And what's neat about it, since it's AI, that means that you can create a look with the AI tools and then apply it to a whole batch of images from the same shoot or from other shoots. And it's going to go through each and every image, and it's going to reanalyze the image, and should we do what's best? Like you had the whites of the eyes and red eye. Let's say if you did adjust the red eye, If there isn't red eye in the scene, it bypasses it.
Well, it won't do anything.
Did the blemish removal, and there's no blemishes, on the image, it bypasses. It's smart enough to know that each image is different and it adjusts for it. Now, the opposite of that is when you take a traditional tool, let's say the light tool, and you make a slight change to the blacks, let's say -7. It'll be -7 no matter which image you deal with, even if it needs -7 or not, it'll automatically stick to -7. So those are things I like the best about that.
Yeah, and that you hit it on the head. That, for me, being able to batch edit these images. I'll go in and I'll do those adjustments you saw right there to a single photo, and then I'll just apply them to all the similar selects that we have from that lighting scenario or that angle, and it just knows to hit them all. And I can just grab the whole batch and apply them all, because like you said, it's not going to fix blemishes that aren't there. It's not going to remove red eye that's not there. It's not going to brighten a face that isn't there. So it's really impressive. And I've used this for lifestyle shoots too, and I found that it can even recognize partial faces. So if a face is slightly turned away from the camera, talking
Erik,
to someone else in the scene.
Could you hide your Skype screen so I can see you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think you're still sharing the screen.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry, Erik. There you go, bud.
Am I back?
Yeah, you were just
right,
a little thumbnail in the corner.
Oh, gotcha.
No.
So yeah, so it's pretty awesome because it'll, like you were saying, will only apply where it needs to apply. It's intelligent. And I found that it can even do partial faces. So if someone's kind of looking away for a more natural lifestyle shot, or there's multiple people in the scene, it will find multiple faces and apply these adjustments to multiple people. So this isn't just formal portraits and headshots. This can work for your family portraits, your group photos, that kind of stuff too. It's really impressive how smart the artificial intelligence is.
Now, camera gear. What are you using for your camera gear on most of your shoots?
The camera that I'm looking into right now, actually. So it's the Fujifilm X-T4, and it's incredible. I'm using it for video jobs. I shot a video job, let's say Friday. On Thursday, I shot a video job for an insurance company. 2-camera interview video setup using this. And I can also use this for my action stuff because it's 15 frames per second, and that will synchronize with a flash at that speed to slow motion video. It's pretty awesome.
Well, that's great. And I told you, Fuji sent me the X-T3.
Yeah.
The 4s are on not back. The 4s are
limited supply for sure.
Because of the whole quarantine stuff. So they don't have those readily available to loan out. And so over the weekend, we have a whole photo shoot lined up with 7 or 8 people at this huge compound here. And I can't wait to try out, especially the face detection and the eye where it detects the eyes. That's something that's new to me, coming from the Nikon background. The only thing I need, because of my Shrek hands, is I do need the battery grip.
Yeah, get the grip for sure. Yeah, that'll make a big difference. Yeah, and so the X-T3 to the X-T4, the grip was improved a little bit too. So.
Oh, interesting. So the 8, they gave me a portrait 880, a long telephoto lens equivalent to 70 to 200, and then the I think 16 to 55. Which is like 24 to 70, somewhere around.
Yeah, you have the range.
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do is some wide angle stuff, because I'm not usually a wide angle shooter. We'll have fun. Man, you're not too far from us, so I should swing by and kidnap you and bring you up here and we have a shoot at some point.
I'm down. Yeah.
You got.
I'm spending a lot of my time in Florida now, so I'm back and forth between here and New York. I'll be in New York next weekend, but I'm down in the Clearwater, Tampa, Florida area now.
Yep. Yep, so that's easy. Yeah, so when I finally noticed that you were back in town for a while, I was like, oh man, we got to get down there and grab them, bring them back up here, or even bring a whole bunch of people down to a shoot together. So we'll have fun.
Now that the state's opened up, let's do it.
You got it. Well, hey, Erik, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. It was always great having you on.
It's a blast, and I love talking about this kind of stuff because it's the kind of thing that gets you out there and shooting more. We can just jump in, saves us time. We're producing good, polished work here on the post-production side, and then we're back out the door with more time to go shoot. So thanks for having me on and letting me share.
You got it. All right, bud, I'll see you soon. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back on Monday with another Luminar Coffee Break. Bye.
See ya.